Let's discuss.
Hey everyone, it's Rachel back again with another reaction video, and today I will be checking out a new album from Thornhill. It is called Heroine, and I have covered the singles on the channel. My favorite of them has been Raw, but I've talked a decent amount about my thoughts on this, about how I feel the full album context will be where some of the singles I didn't revisit as much will probably click for me a little bit more, and then the ones I already enjoyed will probably click more so. I do think there will be stuff on this that I don't revisit as much as others, obviously, because as I've talked about, some of the style falls a little bit out of my normal listening and is something that is kind of branching out some of my tastes and interests and such. So as expected, with a sound change like this, some of it probably won't hit for me, but honestly, who knows? I'm stoked to check it out though. I have the singles on my channel, so I'll do what I've been doing with these album/EP reactions, where I just sort of start the song and then condense it down so I don't sit through the whole thing when I already have it on the channel, because I'm not really reacting to it per se at that point, but I still keep them in there so the context of the album and the order of the songs is there. So anyway, all that being said, as usual, all of Thornhill's social media and such will be in the description. I just got to see them live recently, and it was awesome. They did a great job, and I've been waiting a while to see Thornhill. I've never got to see them before, obviously, as I just said, and now they're already coming back, so I'll get to see them again in August. Stoked. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. I've been rambling. All their social media, the unified stuff, the videos that I'll be using in this will be in the description. I'll link the playlist that I use. So I'm going to stop talking. We are going to get straight into it. The Hellfire Club. I like those vocals. Yeah. If you like Cherry, Jacob's other project, then those vocals are the one. probably my favorite chorus that I've heard come from this record. I really like this one. Interesting for an opener, too. I still feel like I probably have no idea what else is on this record. Holy groove. I love that. What will happen? Yep, that's good enough to bring back around. And the use of the... Oh, wait. Singles have definitely, and these two that we've opened with, I've loved these. They said, "What did you say about us?" And another new track. Let's do it. All right, Blue Velvet. But what I was saying was I've really loved these non-singles compared to the singles. So I really do feel like the context of the non-singles would be, or of the singles would be.
Just take me down, baby. I love the sound. Your intimate desire.
Yeah, I love that bass solo.
I can feel the pressure, and it's building up. It's building up. So
I like the vocals a lot too. Yo, that is just my style. Yeah, I feel everybody will have very differing favorites and opinions and such on this. It will be a hot topic. Like this album. Not just this track. Stop dropping. Strong start for me, like for what I enjoy, but as I was saying, I feel it will differ a lot. Okay, into Arkangel. Yeah, drums really pop in this album. Like has excellent drums. Like this intro, I was like. Yeah, see, even this one, I do feel like, in context, it's... But we'll see, I guess I need to know, like, Longboard, if that's the case still, but on this listen for sure. I think maybe it's a new one after this, and then another single, but I don't know. And this was really good live as well. Valentine.
what's yours, right? Oh yeah, I know those eyes.
Different. I mean, it's all been sort of different, but you know?
Cause I'm forever trusting your mystery. Like an arrow shot to my head. Forever trusting your memory. Like a glamorous shot with the light. You lure me in mysteriously like a
I love that bass, but I don't know if this will be one I revisit too much. It's still very cool. I also haven't given it a full song, so we'll see. Yeah, okay. I like that one. It's interesting, but you know, for me, I don't think I'll do a ton of revisiting, whereas in the beginning of the album, those songs, for my taste and such, I'll be revisiting. This is another one that was a lot of fun to see live. All of the new singles, really fun live.
One second and I try to replay. 2 seconds ain't enough 'cause you're my prey. Well, I saw you there, hands up in the air with your face to the floor. Well, baby, I see you.
This very much, this track, I feel like very much encompasses their stage vibe. So much added. Oh, that hits. And I remember when this came out, it was like, I will say it took me a minute to get into it, but that's about it. It's like dancey, but at the same time,
You know that I don't want to see you burn. 'Cause I don't want to say
so many different styles of vocals used. Something terrible came with the rain. The song title definitely has me curious what this will be like. Yeah, okay. The title gave off, like, kind of, could be interlude. So interlude in between two singles, I think? Now I don't remember what we were doing.
With lips against your face.
And we still have another single in there somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know my place.
Yes.
Yeah, you're back against the wall. Courtesy of envy. So just show them what you are. Show mercy, just to clear.
That's intensity. I love the way that is there. Yeah, I didn't do a ton of revisiting to most of the singles. Raw, I have listened to a decent amount, especially for when that was released. But I do think that what I had said before will be true for most of the singles. I'll do more listening now but the non-singles have stuck out even more to me for the most part, which I'll talk about more at the end, of course. That's right. I think this goes into Raw and then the closer, and then we're done already. Oh, it's gonna give. I think it had a decently long 30 seconds of credits and stuff. We'll do this. Okay, so into Raw, which, as I mentioned, this was my favorite of the singles, even though, as I said in the video, some of the parts, like these opening vocals that you're hearing, well, that you will hear, that part is still taking a bit for me to digest, but there are other parts. This vocal style is, for me, something I have to, yeah, but everything else just sticks out to me so much that, surprised by this part. I love his vocals. It gets so sad right there, and then it gets back to it. So much style in those vocals there too. This is the title track, I believe. Well, I know. No, I don't. I've been fooled, bamboozled. Why did I think that? I said I know. Focus is so cool with that riff. Ooh, the drumming too. Together so nicely. Drumming is a deception on this record. said the name after I was wrong about it. And now we've finished? No! Alright, I was wrong about how many tracks. So the closer is the title track. Okay, good. There's still another song. That was really interesting. That I'll revisit a lot too. Oh, I'm so glad there's another track. I was bummed. I was like, I could have sworn there was a title track as a closer.
Your days away from waiting. Well, that's coming up, sure it's coming up. Yeah, you know that all the boys around me know. 'Cause you dress out like you're from Queen, with your makeup on, but she's 21. Yeah, you know that she will never see you tonight, for tonight, for tonight, tonight, with me for tonight,
Tonight.
with me for the sake. Don't break my heart. We dance the night away together. Yeah. I don't understand why all these eyes keep falling. That's when we dance the night away. When we dance the night away. You want me to own the floor, so I sang to make you love me. And need space to see the way you move me. 'Cause I know that you like my hips to swing against you gently. So don't break my heart.
Voice vocals are incredible. Thornhill, Heroine, let's discuss. So after first listen, I do still think that this will probably be a record that's very divisive of the genre probably, and just Thornhill fans in general. But for me and my taste, I have talked a bit and I covered a bit of Cherry on the channel, which is Jacob's other project, and there's a reason that I'm bringing this up, and it's because in the first 3 songs, especially the first 2, I feel like there are a lot of moments that you can kind of correlate with the sounds that you hear in the project Cherry, and some of that being brought over into this, which makes sense because it's the same vocalist who's working on this. So for me, I loved that. I thought the start of the record was really strong and an excellent way to open it up for me and really bring me into it too, because the Hellfire Club, Leather Wings, and Blue Velvet would probably be 3 of my favorite tracks on this. I know there aren't a ton of non-singles otherwise. The title track was also a big hitter for me. I liked the end of the record a lot, especially because I thought Varsity Hearts was the closer for a second, and I was really bummed. And because I liked the song, but I was like, it feels like it wasn't like the period at the end of the sentence for this album. And then so it made sense that, first of all, I remembered there being a closing title track, but also there got to be another track before it closed. So I think that was an excellent closer to the album, especially as you get later into the song. And like when I mentioned, it was all coming together in that reaction / part of the song where you sort of hear all of the elements that have been sprinkled in throughout the song come together. I think it did a really excellent job of that, and this would be a really hard album to have a closer that encompasses like the whole sound, or an opener even. So I don't think that would be like a real weird song. I think like a combination type of song, because some records it's like, you get that closer where it feels like the perfect blend of things that happen. But with this having so many extremes to it, I don't know how that would work or really sound. So I liked that a lot. And I know that the big topic of conversation has been the stylistic choices on the vocals, where at times I definitely agree. I mean, not to the point where I'm like, I'm gonna say something to the band about it or whatever, or just because, if the band were to be putting out a record that was not this, they would be putting out an album that other people wanted but they didn't want to make, so it wouldn't be good anyway. And I have talked about how I love The Dark Pool. It will be very hard for something to hit that way, but I don't go into especially after how many singles we got. I feel like it was known that this was not going to be like that. And so for me, what I was talking about kind of in the singles, and especially even with my favorite single, how I was talking about with Raw, those intro vocals that come in and are throughout the song, that style, that's kind of spoken. And I think that's where people bring up Muse a lot, because everyone has been saying that about this. I think that style, like if you have roots there and that's something that you've listened to a lot, you'll probably have less of it will be less of like something that for you to digest, because you have roots there and it's something you're used to. Where for me, I don't have Muse in my, in my listening and my roots and stuff. Like I've heard some songs, of course, they're a big influence for Era. Some of Era is like a big fan of Muse and they've done a cover and such and blah, blah, blah. Not necessarily. I don't think that Era's music really sounds like Muse, but also people are very quick to pick up on things where they think there are similarities and stuff and be like, oh, this whole record, it sounds like Muse, because, a few parts have that sort of influence. But that is also how music works. Just so I know what a lot of the comments might be like. I don't know what they will be like. But people's thoughts on this, especially as we discuss the singles too, because for me, I'm not head over heels for this album, I wouldn't say, but I did not expect to be. I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would, given the singles that, the preview that we were given into the album. I thought maybe it would go a lot more in the direction of that sort of, that I don't know what that style is called. So if anyone does, go ahead and let me know so I can stop sounding this way when I'm trying to talk about it. But those moments, they have a lot of attitude in them, which I find very it attracts me to the sounds and such, but it goes in such different directions too that it sort of carries you. Like, you don't need to be into a certain part of one of these songs to enjoy the full thing. But like I was saying with those 3 opening tracks, it felt very like in the vocals, all in the delivery and some of like those harmonies that I was talking about, the way Jacob's voice carries over some of those instrumentals, it's very Cherry. But then also you get some moments that obviously, like I'm saying, these songs aren't at all, I don't want this to sound like a bad thing either, like from front to back, I wouldn't say that the sound is consistent. It goes different places. It's got a lot to each song. Well, maybe not each song, but most songs, especially singles, you know? Sorry, I'm kind of blabbing about this. So I'm going to move on from that. The interlude in between two singles, I'm not sure that I loved that so much. Usually and that's definitely not like a big deal. I think it's more of like song order, because I think with something new or like something you haven't heard before, for me at least, it's easier to get grabbed into like an interlude track when there's like either on the front or back side of it something that you have not heard before that it sort of ties into. It just kind of felt in between those two songs without really connecting them, if that makes sense. So it was interesting. I knew with the song title though, it gave me almost like Law Dispute short song. They don't really do interludes, but like short song. I was thinking like, you know, because I didn't study this track list, I was thinking it could either be an interlude or a song that I'll really dig, and it was more of an interlude, probably something I won't revisit too much. But those first three tracks and the title track, also Varsity Hearts probably too, I'll do a lot of revisiting on. For me, Hollywood hit a bit differently, and it did as well in Casanova. Both of those hit a bit differently, first of all when I saw them live, and then in context of the album, they also hit a bit differently. I'm not sure that Arkangel will get as much repeat as the other singles for me, but I will find out. Raw is something I will continue listening to. Yeah, so on first listen, I think this is a bit better than what I had been expecting. And again, that's not because I don't want it to sound like I thought, because, you know, it had a bit of a different sound. It was just those parts that threw me for a loop and were, you know, the stylistic choice also of like the distortion on some of the vocals that everyone is so up in arms about and such. For me, I don't have a huge problem with them. Like, I'm not raging over them, but I do think that in some of those spots, it's part of what will make them have less repeat value for me. But then it felt like within the non-singles, you get a lot of different vocal styles. Like I was saying, even in some of the singles listening, like you get some, you know, what I would not consider quite screaming, but you're getting a different sort of vocal that's also like, you know, so there's a lot of variety here, and I feel like that's probably what they wanted to do. They experimented, but at the same time, like, there is some riffs in here that are outstanding. The drumming, as I had mentioned, throughout the entire record, the drumming was very consistent for me in pulling my attention away. Some of that cymbal stuff, and some of the build-up, and not even just build-up either, because I feel like a lot of times that's huge for drumming, like getting some of those build-up moments. But just having like that really, the sound that it sort of carries the song sometimes, because you'll be like, you know, I can't remember which song right now because it puts me on the spot and I get nervous, but when it like comes down to, okay, I'm not going to try to do this right now because I just made myself very nervous about repeating lyrics, but there are just parts where it will sort of change up, strip down, and it comes down to something that's a bit calmer, and then it will be like cutting through the next moment and such. So just a very strong drumming performance throughout it. There were some tracks where the bass was it was just speaking to me. So, and more towards I felt like the beginning half really grabbed my attention more, but I'm going to do some re-listening. I'll see where we fall. I'm trying to remember Valentine. Valentine kind of fell off like what I remember. I do remember like the word Valentine being used, but I'll need to do some revisiting there. So yeah, it's the songs, the non-singles stick out the most to me. The singles, some of them hit a bit more for me now. And then there are a few songs, as expected, that I probably won't do a ton of revisiting on. So as I get more familiar with what my favorites are and I do some more listening, I need to read through with the lyrics too, because there are definitely points where I'm like, I have no idea what's being said here, where that hasn't always been the case with Thornhill. I think that has a lot to do with, you know, what we've already talked about. I don't need to repeat it probably. So I'll need to go through and read with the lyrics too to see which one. I was really liking Blue Velvet's vibe, but I'll need to, again, go through, listen with the lyrics, re-listen just in general. So those are my thoughts after hearing the record once. Let me know what your favorite tracks were off this, what you thought of this. I know there will probably be a a divide there, but I'm sure there are probably some people like myself who also really dug some of it. So let me know in the comments. All of Thornhill's social media, any merch that you can get, all of that will be in the description of this video. You can also find my link tree in the description, which as always will have the invite for the Discord server, which is full of a bunch of my favorite people. Music-related conversation, non-music-related conversation, like games, computers, stuff like that. We've got a bunch of different channels in there, so if you're interested in coming to join and check out the community, that will be there, as well as my Instagram profile link where I post all music-related content. I post sometimes on my story about YouTube. I post every Friday a chart of what I have listened to the most over the course of the week, singles, albums, EPs, depending on what that week looked like for me, as well as merch. I have a ton of merch, a never-ending merch collection, sweatshirts, vinyl, t-shirts, flags, everything, constantly getting more. So I post that usually once or twice a week, sometimes about shows if I have pictures or videos to share from shows I've been to recently, stuff like that. So my handle on there is the same as my YouTube channel. It is Rachel Reacts, but again, I will have it in that link tree in the description if you have any interest in following me. As always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it.